This week on Who Deserves to Be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we look at the case for putting Steve Winwood into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist. This week, we're going to look at the case for putting Birmingham, England's Steve Winwood into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, Steve is a legend in the rock world, having been a part of 6 legendary bands: the Spencer Davis Group, Traffic, Go, Ginger Baker's Air Force, Eric Clapton and the Powerhouse, and of course Blind Faith. As legendary as all those bands were, only Traffic is in the hall, so Steve has already been inducted as part of that group. We can discuss why Blind Faith and the Spencer Davis Group aren't in the hall at a later point, because both groups definitely should be, but I digress. Let us talk about the case, though, for putting Steve in as a solo artist. And, of course, I already know what you're going to say. Since he's already in as a member of Traffic, why bother with his solo career? Well, you could say the same thing about Stevie Nicks, who is in as a solo artist after having been inducted as a member of Fleetwood Mac. Same thing. They both deserve to get in. With that said, to the tail of the tape we go. Although Steve has 9 solo albums, his 2nd through 6th albums are the meat of his career and the ones that gave him the greatest solo success. All but 2 of his 9 solo albums, by the way, hit the top 30 in America. Even his 1977 self-titled first album went to number 22, although there weren't any singles that were popular during its initial run. 3 of those albums, 1980's Ark of a Diver, 1986's Back in the High Life, and 1988's Roll With It, all hit the top 5, with Roll With It actually hitting number 1 on the pop charts. His last official studio album, which was 2008's 9 Lives, went to number 12. His 1987 compilation album, Chronicles, which is what I personally recommend if you want to get your feet wet with them, went to number 26 and went platinum in America. He had 2 live albums that did okay, especially his 2009 Live from Madison Square Garden, which went to number 14 on the charts. Singles-wise, Steve did extremely well in the 1980s. He had 19 top 40 songs in America. Out of those, 11 went top 10 and 4 went to number 1. Steve has hits like Ark of a Diver, Higher Love, Roll With It, Back in the High Life, Wake Me Up on Judgment Day, Help Me Angel, 1980's While You See a Chance, which was his first big solo hit, going to number 2 on the singles chart in America, and The Finer Things. He won 2 Grammy Awards, including Record of the Year, and countless other awards. His songs have been covered by numerous artists, especially in electronic dance music. Eric Prydz, for instance, used Steve's 1982 top 15 hit song Valerie for his song Call on Me. Steve even re-recorded the vocals for Prydz's version. Higher Love, which was Steve's number 1 Grammy Award-winning smash hit with Chaka Khan, became a number 1 smash hit for Kygo, or Kygo, depending on which side of the pond you're on, with the late great Whitney Houston doing the vocals on that one. Steve's mixing of blues, soul, pop, jazz, and rock music has also influenced generations of artists, from Eric Clapton to Santana to Coldplay to John Mayer. In fact, he was actually given the BMI Icon Award for his, quote, enduring influence on generations of music makers, end quote. Another part of Steve's legacy is the amount of session work that he did on albums that you didn't even know he appeared on. For instance, he played on the Jimi Hendrix Experience's 1968 Electric Ladyland and Jimmy's 1971 posthumous release, The Cry of Love, along with Joe Cocker's 1968 version of With a Little Help from My Friends, B.B. King's 1971 B.B. King in London, a bunch of things with his Traffic bandmate Jim Capaldi, Toots and the Maytals' 1976 album Reggae Got Soul, George Harrison's 1979 self-titled album, a couple of Marianne Faithfull's albums, along with albums for Eric Clapton / Robert Palmer, Howlin' Wolf, himself, Lou Reed, Miranda Lambert, Paul Weller, Talk, Christine McVie, David Gilmour, Jimmy Buffett, Billy Joel, and Phil Collins, and that's just a partial list. As far as Steve's chances for the Hall go, well, he was nominated back in 2003, but he didn't make the final cut. That is a shame, considering his track record and especially considering that he's also one of the most respected songwriters in the business even to this day. Steve Winwood, to me, deserves to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, this time as a solo artist. He also deserves to go in with Blind Faith and the Spencer Davis Group, but we'll save that argument for another day.